Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be working on JJ. I have purchased a tilt steering wheel column, and I did not make the purchase intentionally, but that's what we're going to be installing today. But let me tell you how that purchase went down. It was totally an accident. I had been on eBay looking at tilt steering wheel columns because the bottom of my column, the bearing was a little loose, and when you hit bumps you could just hear it bumping a little bit. Very annoying. It's done it ever since I had the Jeep. Took me a long time to figure out what it was. Finally figured out what it was. So I went on eBay looking at the pictures of the steering wheel columns, trying to find a picture of that bottom bearing. Anyway, later that evening I was riding down the road listening to the radio in JJ, and I noticed that my songs just kept changing, going through one right after another and I had my phone in my pocket. It was swiping through my songs, just going from one to the next one. During the process of my phone doing that, it had actually gotten on the eBay app, opened it back up where I had been viewing steering wheel columns, and apparently it clicked the buy it now button, and I think you have to click it twice. Anyway, it did what it had to do. It ordered the steering wheel column for me, and it's for an automatic, and you can swap an automatic steering wheel column and turn it into a manual shift steering wheel column very easily. I'll show y'all that when I get down to it. But anyway, that's how I ended up with steering wheel column. I was trying to find a column picture so I could see if the bearing was replaceable, and they don't sell bearings for that. And I've got a hack that I do to the steering wheel column. If you think your lower bearing is going out just because it's making a little noise, it's most likely not going out, and I can show you how to fix that. So let's get to it. Alright guys, I didn't show a lot getting to this point. Y'all seen me take this dash apart before around the steering wheel column, and I just a repeat of what I've done in other videos. And so now I'm fixing to remove the airbag. I have the battery unplugged already because you do not want to mess with airbags with the batteries plugged up. And I'm going to pull that off. I'm going to get the steering wheel off, and then I will begin releasing some of these plugs here and getting it to where I can pull this column out. And I'm hoping it's not going to be that big of a deal. You see these bigger holes right here? That's where 2 screws hold in the airbag, and they're 8mm. Alright, there's going to be 2 wires behind the airbag. One is for your airbag, the other one's for the horn. The yellow one's the airbag, and it just simply pulls out of this one like that. And this is my horn wire, and I have tape around it because it was not connected tight enough, and so I put tape around it to hold the connection more secure. Alright guys, as you can see, it's the next day. I had some things come up last night, and I had to stop and pull off on this, so I've rolled the Jeep outside to get as much natural lighting as I can, and I will use regular lights as I have to show you what I'm going to be doing in here. I've noticed one thing: to use my tilt function, I'm probably going to have to relocate my amp, and I have another idea for that, so we'll look into that later. But first I'm going to release all these little plugs. Alright, I want to take out this clock spring. I have marked my steering wheel shaft, which I don't think that is necessary. I have marked my clock spring right here and right here. I know that's where it's supposed to be. I have not moved anything. You have to push up on this little tab on the back, and then it will come out.
Okay, I gotta release this bottom clip here. I couldn't get it out while it goes. Got a little plastic tab holding it. And then I'm going to put a zip tie through my clock spring so it will not lose its position. If it loses its position, it can be big trouble. So let me do that and I'll show you what I mean. So here you can see I've got 2 zip ties on each side of this chin piece here. That way it cannot spin, and I will not lose position. And when I get ready to put it back on, I will cut those and I will put it straight on. That way everything will be as it should be. All right guys, I got 4 nuts and 1 bolt left to release, and 1 right there, 1 on the other side, 1 down in there. I don't know if you can see that or not. 1 on the other side, and then I have to release the bolt that connects the steering shaft to the column right here. So anyway, I'm gonna get those released and this thing should be ready to pull straight out. So here's my 2 steering columns. This is the one without tilt. This is one with tilt. It's got this extra mechanism on it, of course, with the lever. You'll see that it don't have the button on it. This one's got the button, so I will have to take this button off and put on this one for my manual. This one has something that plugs in there from the automatic transmission that will allow you to remove the key. And of course, if you're on a manual, you know about this button you have to press to roll the key all the way back so you can get it out. I'll have to change that over, and I believe that is going to be the only difference. The reason I was even looking at the steering columns was because this bearing right here on the end, I was thinking was bad because I could hit some small bumps and this would move up and down this direction and cause bumping in my steering column, and it took me forever to figure out what it was. And I have found out since taking it out and also messing with this one that the bearings are typically not bad at all. All you have to do is reset this this keeper washer. I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, I don't know if the lighting is going to be good on this night. It looks like it's pretty terrible, but anyway, I can grab this and move it side to side and I can feel movement. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can actually hear it, and that's what it was doing under my column. And all you have to do to fix that in this situation is push that washer back on down. You can see that the dirt is, you can see how dirty it is around it, and when I get it pushed down it should be clean. So I'll come back when I get that done. I just tap around it and reseat that washer. So the one I got off eBay was this same exact way. I was going to send it back and I got to messing with it and I figured it out. So you can see right here how much that washer, so hopefully you can see right here how much that washer has slid down, and that right there will remove all the slack out of the bottom bearing in your steering column. And now that movement that was there before is gone. I have bearing problems anyway. Mine was rough before I started. It's not too bad now. It's a little bit stiffer than it was when I did it on the good column. It didn't stiffen it up at all, but there's no slack or play in it. So if you didn't know that, maybe that'll help you out. I could have fixed this column and not had to replace it just to get that bearing. But anyway, I'm going to upgrade the column while I'm at it. All right, I'm going to start removing this. These little Torx heads are T10 security bits. So right here I've got a good opportunity to show you the button that releases a mechanism that the key cylinder goes in with. So you just depress it. Well, you got to roll the key on. One more click. It's pressed in, you pull it out. Just like that. I think that's all it is to it. Okay, so crank it, it starts. Get ready to pull it out, can't pull it out. Press the key. So that's all it was, 2 screws, and you can change an automatic column to a manual column. Alright guys, so I'm ready to go back in with my new column. And I did remove the amp because I couldn't get the old column out because the amp was right in the way. And I had to come down off of these studs. So I'm not going to try to film this going back in. It's kind of dark, and I'm just going to try to, I got to put these 2 bolt holes over these 2 bolts and 2 studs over that right here. So let me get that put back in there, and then we'll start putting all the peripherals on. So I've got my clock spring, I've got it, all the zip ties cut, and it's ready to go back in. All right, that's back in. I'm gonna plug up my wires down here. Alright, so this is my upper bezel for the steering column, and I don't have a spot for my tilt lever. So I'm going to go measure Seth's tilt lever bezel and see exactly where I need to cut and make this where it will accommodate this tilt steering wheel. Alright, so I got my first 2 lines. I'm just going to cut out this little trench right here, and I think I got to go up just a little bit right there. But it shouldn't be no big deal. I'm going to get my Dremel out and I'm going to get to doing that, and I'll come back when I have it done. Alright guys, there's the job done. Tilt steering wheel on JJ. Here's the little cutout I made. It looks just like Seth's. I'm amazed at how well that turned out. Everything looks good, and I'm pleased with it. And I'll have my rattle out of my steering wheel that I was trying to get rid of, and I've actually now got an extra column. Well guys, that's gonna wrap up this video. I like the end result. The little cutout I did actually turned out very nice. It looks just like Seth's on his. And anyway, I've got about 30 minutes worth of cleaning up to do, and I got to put my door back on. I got my door off, and I just felt a little bit of rain drop on my head. So I thank y'all for stopping by today and watching, and y'all come back next time. We'll see what we got going then.